They are taking our kids every day. I shout them in and no one has a thing to say. For those who have been isolated, don't be worried, you have a voice today. So listen up everyone, here is the story. Child Protective Services is real. CPS is what they call it. They want our kids because it fills a lot of people's wallet. We all think it won't be us. We say when they come we will be so tough. It all sounds good when there's no one to take them. But when they come, your voice gets to breaking. Stay calm, step away. CPS ain't taking no one today. We are educated. Stay calm, step away. CPS, you need to leave. I know the tricks up your sleeve. You can't do what you're trying to do. We have done our homework. Don't do a damn thing without a warrant. You no longer will steal our kids this way. Tiff and the Punisher have come for the calling. They are giving us the CPS warning. Their voice is loud and clear. We stop losing our kids this year. Tiff wants to fight the entire planet. She is tired of our kids being taken, God damn it. She's been fighting CPS for 30 years, bringing children home from this disgusting mess. The Punisher is screaming out loud, abolish CPS and tear it down. I want all our kids to come back. Look at all those kids' pictures held up like thin tags. Together we are stronger than we need. We will tear down CPS with high speed. We will do so much being together. Birds of a feather flock together. So watch out CPS, here we come. Picking you one by one. We promise to bring back the family and prosecute the caseworkers unhandily. Give us back the kids you have taken. Tiff and the Punisher sending you all on a vacation. The one with bars in the windows and the only games you play are on Nintendos. Corruption in courts, here we come. We won't stop until it's done. You judges need to learn what you stand for. This is Tiff and the Punisher Warrior, and we cry out to all of you out there. We need support for a cause that many don't care. All children are being stolen way too often. So CPS, we plan on doing the stopping. Stop it.
What is up, ladies? Spanny went to the deep dark land. Spanny, come back, over. Well, check 1, 2. There's Spanny. Coming back to you. There's
Hey.
Spanny. You can't hear me, can you?
Barely, just barely.
Just barely? All right, hold on a second. Let me get this.
Yeah, you're a little low.
Hello. Okay.
That we can hear you now.
Better?
We can hear you now, yes.
All right. Houston, I am here. Well, guys,
now you're talking to yourself.
now I was talking to
you're
myself.
muted. There we go.
There, all right. So Tiff has had an emergency meeting tonight with her NAACP people. I guess it's about.
I kind of guess that's what it is.
Yeah, she's trying to spread the word about the CPS stuff, I guess. I don't really know much more than that, but I think it was a pretty big deal because she was missing the show. So, but I mean, I have Spanny and Kim, so that's just as if good, if not better. So, ladies, how are we?
I'm here.
We're good. We're good.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
I mean,
thanks, Kim, for coming so quickly on us.
No problem.
I know Spanny and I could have chatted it out, but I think it's more fun with a threesome, you know? So here we are. But so I don't know
No
what's
comments.
really
That's why I love you, Spanny. That's why I love you. You read my mind.
I said I'm gonna leave that right freak alone. So yeah. But what we were just talking about is the effects that this CPS has on us when, as parents, when they come in and they start messing with you. Really, I mean, from the first time they knock on your door to the point that they
it's traumatizing all the way around for the kids and the parents.
Right,
and they just don't care.
No, they don't knock on your door all night long. Take your kid without even care. I mean, how many caseworkers do you think shed a tear when they remove your kid? Have you ever heard
Not one of them.
Right.
My daughter threatened to feed the caseworker to the 21-foot snake that we had.
I threatened to, well, I didn't threaten. I suggested that I could have my dog attack her if I wanted. And they said that that was a threat, so they used it against me for a restraining order. Even though I said I could, but whatever, you know.
It was in the hospital at the time, and my daughter was like, I should feed her to Sam. And I just kind of like face palmed, and I had to turn around because I was trying so hard not to laugh. And she's like, Sam. I was like, the 21-foot Burmese python in the house.
It is crazy, and you know, like, I wonder. I mean, first of all, what I used against mine in court when I went to court for her with the restraining order, because of one of those comments I made, the question I asked her on the stand was, "Aren't you guys trained in this? That the fact that when you go to a home, that their parents are going to be mad, they're going to snap, they're going to get angry. You know, like, you're not going to just walk in there and take anybody's kid. You're not just no parent that's not, you know, is going to let you just come on in and sure, take my kid, please. It's not Henny Youngman, you know, like, take my wife, please. It's, you know, like, this is your child. This is what you do. So, you know, and then to have that effect on you now, like, you're concerned all the time now, of, even with your dog or your cat or whatever you have, you know, like, you're afraid someone could come and take that away from you. That's the thing, is that you have this trauma thing that you are not a security blanket anymore. And that's just part of what they do.
It's PTSD. It's really
Right.
PTSD. It's post-traumatic stress disorder. And, I was talking to a parent about 2 weeks ago. CPS in Alabama knocked on her door, and she messaged me last night. We went through the steps. The CPS hasn't taken her children, thankfully. And we went through the steps of a cease and desist to make sure that they will leave her the hell alone. And she said last night that about midnight or so, somebody knocked on her door, and it was the pizza guy looking for a different address, but she wasn't expecting anybody to knock on her door. And she said her anxiety was through the roof. She couldn't breathe. Her chest hurt. And we've all been there. We've all been through that. We know what that feels like and how terrifying it is to end up not being able to sleep, not being able to sit in your own home and feel comfort and peace, because you never know when these people that work for a for-profit child trafficking business are going to come beat on your door, threaten you, try to take your children, try to have you arrested so they can take your children. It's terrifying. And we have so many people who have lost their lives over this. Either it's because they've taken their own life, like Chris Buchanan, my best friend, who killed himself 2 days before his birthday in 2023, because CPS took his 5 little girls from him for no reason other than the fact that his wife had died. They told him, you can't be a single father to 5 little girls. There was nothing. They never accused him of doing anything wrong. We have other parents like Gunner. Gunner's got serious health problems because of what CPS has done to him. This is an epidemic. Not just that our children are being stolen, but also because parents are physically being destroyed because of what CPS is doing. And what we need is parents need to understand that it's not a bad thing to reach out to somebody and say, I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I feel all alone. You're not alone. We've all been there. Reach out to somebody.
Right. Yeah.
Don't take your life. Don't let this destroy you.
I had a client on the phone last night that was in tears with me for probably a good 45 minutes. So.
Oh man, that's terrible.
West Virginia yet again.
That's rough. If Tiffany was here, I'd be like, but get this: the rate for suicide is 10 per 100,000 for the kids with no CPS history, 31 per 100,000 for children with a history of CPS contact. I'm looking for the adult one right now. That's the first statistic that came up for me.
Yeah.
So the children that had prior CPS contact have over 3 times the odds of dying by suicide than
for the adults. My best suggestion: just stay busy. Just stay busy, because the more you sit in the house alone and think, the worse it's going to get.
Yeah.
You're right.
So, I'm never really alone. I got 5 dogs and 3 cats. So.
Right. Well, even that. We have 9 cats and still Christmas sucks.
Yeah.
But at least
dogs. The dogs at least make you get up and go outside and do stuff with
there's
them.
There's a bunch of groups though that you can get a hold of that or talk groups.
Yeah.
I know that we're working on one here. There's a bunch of resources that you can use in that way to help pass that time.
I get some parents that get another job, or some parents that just start YouTubes and stuff like that. It just sometimes the best thing to do is to stay out of your mind and stay a little bit busy, because I know after CPS takes a kid, your mind is never the same.
No, it's not.
And I admitted for, I don't know how long ago was the last life. The first 3 months that my daughter was taken, I was probably blackout drunk most of those.
Yeah.
So
well, that's the other thing that they do. They force you back to using. If you were a candidate for a relapse, then you definitely get first prize.
I wasn't an alcoholic till then.
right?
I wasn't. Yeah, I actually wasn't an alcoholic till then. I drank, but I didn't drink like that.
Right. Well, alcoholics go to
I
meetings.
yeah no I cleaned up as soon as this advocacy stuff started with me. I cleaned up. I mean, yes, I still drink, but I don't drink like that anymore.
But
You know,
you
you
know,
were
Right now, we
saying that
don't
there's
even.
groups out there. There are a lot
That
of
will
groups
help.
out
Yeah,
there, but so many of them are judgmental. The
and
one that I
some will
can
tell
say,
CPS.
right, the one that I can say, that I have experienced because I've actually gone in and talked with several of these groups, that you have a less likely, it's less likely that they're gonna, judge you or call CPS, is Celebrate Recovery. Celebrate Recovery truly does, um, hold to what they stand for. It's not about, it's hurts, hangups, and habits is what they do. Whether it's alcoholism or drug abuse or domestic violence or self injury or suicidal thoughts or CPS stuff, they support everybody without judgment. They do it from a religious perspective, but they don't push it on you and expect you to participate in the religious part of it if you're not religious. But everybody there, from every group that I've gone to, talking to the parents, letting them know that I'm there to be able to help them with their CPS cases, every single one of them has just been welcomed me with open arms, and there was no judgment at all. I mean, if there was judgment, it was like, I don't think that pink color matches that green shorts that you're wearing, kind of thing.
well, I
Goofy
think
things, not anything that was
yeah,
significant. It was all. It was. Everybody was loving on each other, and you just felt such a sense of, you knew you had somebody that understood what you were feeling, whether they understood your circumstances or not. They understood the anxiety that you were dealing with, and they understood, they've a lot of these people that, like Stanny said, that turn into alcoholics or drug addicts, the reason they do is because of trauma. Nobody walks into a liquor store and says, I want to just live in a bottle of vodka for the rest of my life. They don't just do that. There has to be something that's happened to push them to a point that they're finding an escape. And that escape can be drugs, it can be alcohol, it can be sex, it can be suicide, it can be self harm. It doesn't have to be
And
that way.
and then there's the part where CPS tries to get you involved with as many things and as many classes on top of your job and stuff, so it becomes stress too.
Uh huh.
Because you're so stressed out by having to juggle everything. On top of that, they traumatized you, and they're telling you when you can and can't see your child now, and you know,
Hmm.
yeah.
making stuff up. Hey, I filtered myself. I didn't cuss.
It's very nice. You did a very nice job, Jenny.
Well, there's plenty of people. If parents are new to this hellhole, know that there's plenty of veterans out here who are willing to talk to you and be a shoulder you
Yeah,
can cry on. You don't have to hurt yourself. You don't have to drink. You don't have to turn to drugs. You don't have
Well,
to.
no,
You don't have to. You don't have to feel like you're alone in this. CPS tries to ostracize us and make us feel like we're bad parents because they became part of our lives, and you don't want to tell anybody else about this because then everybody else is going to abandon you and they're going to judge you. But there are parents out there that have been through this, and grandparents and aunts and uncles that have been through this, and we're not going to judge you because we know the kind of bullshit that CPS does in order to steal your children. We're not going to judge you. We just want to be there and listen to you and hear you and be able to make it just a little bit easier on you because we went through absolute hell. And me personally, it hurts tremendously when I see
oh
another
yeah,
parent having to deal with the pain that I dealt with. Because I didn't have anybody there for me when I did this. I did this all alone. I wasn't married. I had no family. It was me. And when I see
Yep.
other parents and I know what they're going through, it kills me to know that they're dealing with that, and then they think they have to do it alone.
Yeah, because and then the family part. Well, your family doesn't understand about the false allegations or anything. They think because CPS is in your life, you obviously did something wrong, which is not
Right.
the case.
Yeah.
Just remember, guys. Tiffany says this all the time, but if her friend from the FBI can get a kid taken by CPS for nothing, it can happen to anybody. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter how much money you have or how good you are or anything.
they're a tool for destruction of the family unit. That is all they are.
Yeah.
Well, that's why it's called the Division of Family Services.
Yep.
Yep. And remember, Tiffany did give the FBI her grandbaby back. She helped get that returned, but yeah, she always says if it can happen to the FBI, it can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Nancy Schaefer was murdered because she
Yeah.
was trying to expose it. If they're willing to murder us to shut us up, then it can happen to anybody, and it will happen to anybody. You
Yep.
piss off the right person.
Up here in Alaska, there was a couple lawyers that were shot to death because they were up against CPS. So it happened a while back. I think it was like 2019 or 18 that it happened in.
That's sick. You know,
But yeah, and that was
had
actually,
back in
and that was recent.
I think it was about 2009, 2010.
Mm-hmm.
We had to go to the doctor or something, and the doctor's office that we went to.
You're blubbering up. I think your Bluetooth is
What?
getting ready to. I think your Bluetooth's getting ready to clip out or something. You're starting to get real poppy.
No, it's probably because I was
I don't
grabbing
know what's
something
going
out
on
of
there.
probably because I was
Oh,
grabbing a
alright.
piece of
Yeah,
rice
you're
cake. I haven't eaten all day, y'all. Sorry.
Piece of rice.
So anyway, the doctor's office that we went to was right down the road from the Child Protective Services office in that county, and we drove by, and the Child Protective Services building was burned to the ground. You know, I didn't realize back then. My first thought was, I guess somebody was pissed off because they didn't get food stamps. No, I know now why it was burnt down, and whoever did it, I say thank you so much. Because every
We
day
had
one of
somebody
them needs
here
to be.
threaten to bomb the CPS building.
These people are
Unfortunately, it's attached to the grocery store, so he's like, you can bomb that part, just don't bomb that part because we kind of still need groceries.
right.
Right. So it looks like it's so mothers with children in CPS lead everything with the suicide rate, and I'm trying to figure out. It looks like I'm gonna guess it's probably per one. No, this must be per thousand.
We lose, yeah,
It's
we lose at least 1 to 2 every year. I know the
4.4.
advocates
It's
I'm involved with.
4.46 adult women that have had kids in custody per 10,000. So 4 per 10,000. So that's a lot.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
Kim's been around Facebook and me enough to know that every year it's 1 or 2 people.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
well, I mean, this number is saying, so let's say 5 per 10,000. That's a lot. It's a lot of people.
And see, that's only the ones that we know about who committed suicide
yeah,
because
because
of
there's a
CPS.
lot that.
Yep.
The ones that we don't know that it was about CPS, I guarantee you that number's probably triple that.
Oh yeah, the numbers don't say everything. The numbers are just a kind of a temporary thing because it's a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Right. And they're going to pad these numbers anyway because they don't want CPS to look bad.
Yep.
There's that part too. It's just like the reunification
So
numbers.
you
All
say,
those numbers are pad.
sorry, I had to go check the fire here, make sure my wood stove's still going.
Oh yes. You are in.
Darren, you and I and Gunnar were talking the other night about CPS and how they actually get their workers is from the social work schools in the state. You know, I honestly think that we
Up
need
here they
to
don't.
no.
No, up here you can walk in and just sign an application up. They'll hire you on the spot, and you go to a I think it's only about a 40-hour class, and there you go.
Oh wow. Well, I know in most states it is the social work schools that they go to. Um, I mean, I know in Alabama last year they passed a law that you don't have to have a license to be a social worker, but CPS goes
Wow.
to the colleges and gets these young kids, and
Uh-huh.
since that's the bulk
Yeah,
of
you
where
don't have to have a license up here either.
since that's the bulk of where
Well,
they're
I
getting
mean,
their
Sandy, you
people,
live at the edge of the world. They're just happy to have people up there.
right?
We're actually a lot bigger than people think, but we're just spread out more because Alaska is bigger than half the United States.
Right. Alaska can fit like 4 Texases in it or something like that, right?
Yeah,
Something
that's what I said.
ridiculous like that.
Half of the United States, really.
That's crazy.
All right.
But we do. I think we need to look at trying to get some people, um, in each state that are willing to go to the social work schools and see if they can talk to the students and let them know, look, this is what CPS does to parents. This is what it actually really does. If we can head off some of these potential workers before CPS comes knocking on their door and says, "Hey, will you come work for us?" Maybe we can get these people to understand the truth before they start trying to destroy lives.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah,
But maybe it's just as easy to get them to change what they're doing. Like I keep saying, I have that bill that I wrote that changes instead of getting money for adoption, for the speed of adoption, why not change that around and quite simply put reunification in its spot? Why
Well,
not give
that's
bonuses for reunifying families?
that's one of the executive orders that Trump actually put into place when he was in office last was to try to incentivize more reunification, and that was supposed to have
Yeah,
already taken effect in every state by now, but it hadn't taken effect in any
Biden
state.
stop it.
Yeah.
I would say that did not make it. Seeing how they're increasing by 4% right across the boards
Yeah.
with all of these states and everything.
Cam, since I know you do a lot of what I do, have you seen a speed up in how they're removing children and TPRing them a lot?
Yeah.
In the last couple months?
Yep. Seen a
As early as
lot
6
more.
months?
Yep.
As early as 6 months on the TPRs? Okay, so it's not just me.
No, it's not just you. And actually, Alabama, in 2020, Alabama, the governor signed a bill into law that says that a judge can take the parents' rights based only on the relationship of the children to the foster parent.
That's messed up.
It is.
Yeah, people, the best interest of the child is whatever the judge thinks fits. I mean, that's what's scary. So when everybody hears the best interest of the child, that means whatever the judge feels is best interest. That's
I
facts.
gotta find this article. Maybe Kim knows what I'm talking about, but there is a whole big article on the best interest of the child and how to get the courts away from that. I gotta find it again. It's been a while since I read it, but
I want to say I've read that one too. It's been a while since I've seen it as well, but yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah, and then there's another one on the 12 presumptions of court. That is a really good thing that people should read. That one I do have in my Google Drive still, but yeah, if we can find that best interest of the child one and how to keep your children away from, or not the children, but the court away from that subject would be good, because that means they're not looking to reunify the family or anything. They're just looking at and getting the child through the process quicker, and whatever happens to them, what happens to them.
Yep, that's crazy. That's disgusting. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that you're hurrying up to tear a family apart? That's what you're doing. You're trying to go faster to tear a family apart. It's absolutely disgusting. Absolutely.
Especially when in most cases the family's done everything right and did all their case plans and everything, but it doesn't matter to them.
I did everything they asked me to do 5
Mhm.
times, and they
Oh, nice.
said they said it wasn't good enough. They used things like I had 13 judges on my case. They bounced me from county to county to county, judge to judge to judge, and I would get, this judge doesn't accept services done in another county, or well, you're only allowed to do the services with the people that we say you're allowed
Hey
to do them
Kim,
with.
hey Kim, a lot of people are
Yeah,
saying your sound keeps popping. It doesn't hear too.
is
Keeps
it?
going pop, 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 pop.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
popping a lot.
It keeps dropping, or
Yeah, something's happening with it. I don't know if it's because of the. I don't know. I think it might be the Bluetooth. Let's see. I lost Gunner here. Uh, that I didn't.
Can y'all hear me
See,
better
I don't
now?
know, but let's see.
for now, we'll see how long it lasts.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's see if we can hear you. Yeah. Yeah, but this whole thing needs to be addressed. There needs to be. I'm trying to get a hold of Sam right now. You guys know who Sam is, I'm sure. Sam Mosley. She does the. She tries to help everybody out that's in this stuff. Trying to get a hold of her right now and seeing if we can get her on here to see what she's got to offer for help with everybody. Because I know she does a lot of this. That's what her specialty is helping people, still remain to be people during these things. And that's pretty much what it's all about here.
Yeah, and don't send me any new clients for at least 2 weeks, guys. I'm like involved with this case in West Virginia that's going to take some time. They're trying to charge a 13-year-old with child neglect.
Oh, that's so disgusting.
Charge a 13-year-old with child neglect.
Yeah, because her uncle essayed her, and in the process of the essaying, he got her pregnant, and she didn't know she was pregnant, so she didn't have prenatal care. So West Virginia is trying to charge her with child neglect, and her mother, who was a single mom working all the time, so she didn't even know she's pregnant. And I can honestly say, you wouldn't have known either. I seen the pictures because the pictures were time stamped. That girl did not look pregnant 2 weeks before she gave birth. The little boy's healthy and in another home. But yeah, no, that she didn't even look like she was pregnant.
Wow.
We had a friend
So
of
they're
ours
trying to
that
charge.
they had no idea
Yeah,
they were even pregnant.
so they're trying to charge her and her mother with child neglect, setting them at the same table, saying you can't talk or see each other because they removed both the 13-year-old and her sister from the mother.
Wow, that's crazy. What kind of people are these people, really?
Well, I mean,
I have nothing
and the
nice
thing
to
is
say
that
about Schaefer.
a lot of them are just as brainwashed as we were before before CPS came knocking on our doors. We didn't realize back then that this is who CPS was. We thought that just somebody else does. CPS knocks on your door and takes your kids is because you're a bad parent. So these people, they go into the situation where they think that they are trying to help children, and then they're put in a position where they're committing crimes unknowingly. Then when they figure it out, their supervisor comes to them and says, okay, here's the deal. You're either going to keep doing this, or we're not going to protect you when you're charged criminally. We're not going to give you an attorney. We're not going to help you get out of this. We're going to just let you take the fall. So then they're put in a situation where it's either I still continue to do these horrible, evil things, or
Okay, your sound's like really
Yeah,
choppy, Kim.
yeah,
you're getting real bad in
I'm not
this
sure what's
now.
going on.
It
I think
sucks
I've got really crap service, or I guess.
Yeah, it must be. It must be. Avelia Gill, you are amazing. Thank you so much for leaving all these comments. She's got such great comments. We need to get her on the show. CPS is so evil, they manipulate your brain to make you think you did something you didn't. They didn't put you in a
Yep.
criminal record. You're placed in a juvenile dependency court when you're adult. And it went on to say some more stuff, but she got clipped, I guess. That's Amy Howard said, whatever you did, Kip, made it worse. CPS is just, they do that. They make you mentally unstable. They really, that the ADA, the American for Disabilities, has made it so that now that if CPS is taking your child, you are now considered a disabled person. So for them to do that, I got to pull that up actually, because someone was asking me about that. But for the ADA to come out and say that it's just as bad as if your child was kidnapped, that you're mentally unstable. And it's about time that they start recognizing these things, because what they do to these families and these parents and to these kids, it's disgusting. And to think that they can live a regular life from that point, you just can't. It can't happen. It really can't.
Well, maybe we need to all start filing for disability until they start giving us our kids back.
Yeah.
I had anxiety before CPS was in my life, but my anxiety got a lot worse afterwards.
Yeah, well, it does. It's true, but how long? This will probably last you a lifetime. You'll
I'm
never
not on
ever
meds for my anxiety. I'm not on meds for my anxiety. I use the green leaf stuff that's illegal in Alaska.
You use
Well,
what?
thank goodness that's legal for people.
The green leaf stuff that's legal in Alaska.
Oh, okay. I understand. It's legal where I'm at right now too, but I use something called GABA. Can y'all hear me better now? I just drove to another spot.
Yeah, it seems better at the moment anyway.
Okay. I use something called GABA. It's over-the-counter herb. GABA. You can get it like at Walmart or CVS or whatever. GABA, St. John's wort, and evening primrose oil. And honestly, it's what saved my life after Chris passed away. I mean, Darren can tell you how messed up I was after Chris passed away. He was Darren was on the phone with me when I was cleaning up Chris's house afterwards, and I was seriously messed up.
Yeah. Well, it's not a job for the faint, that's for sure. That type of stuff. Definitely not.
No, I had to help clean out a house that friend passed away in, and he was a big reptile person, so we had to go through. But the reptiles, he didn't take care of them, so it was the snake that actually killed him.
Oh gosh, snake actually killed the guy.
Yeah, wow. He. We think that there was something mentally wrong with him, and he didn't reach out to anybody.
Yeah.
Because
usually hoarding comes with that type of situation.
Yeah, they had to put down a lot of the reptiles, and we were finding them in closets. We were finding them in cabinets. It was literally open at your own risk.
Yeah. Hell with that. No.
One was in a sleeping bag.
Wow.
It was funny because we brought a couple of friends with us to help clean out, and we opened the garage, and they were sitting there going, we're like, well, just be careful where you look.
Yeah.
We think we got them up. We don't know.
Wow.
That's tough.
That's
snake actually. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He had a lot of exotics that he wasn't supposed to have, even in the state of Alaska.
Oh.
They weren't hot snakes, but some of the exotics that he had weren't legal in the state of Alaska.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it was
never know what to expect.
It was definitely a chore, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it definitely is not something that is easy to do when you're dealing with somebody that's no longer living. It's a very difficult thing, and
Yeah,
especially with somebody you know, it's hard. It's very
Yeah.
hard.
yeah.
It is very difficult.
I was in home care for 11 years, so yeah, it gets really hard.
We
Yeah.
we just need to make sure that people understand that it's not something to be ashamed of for reaching out for help.
Yeah. No, I
Not
tell
at
them
all.
all the time, don't be afraid to reach out to me at any time. I especially make
Absolutely.
those posts during the holidays.
Yeah.
Some people do
It's
reach out
very
to me and some don't.
yeah. It's very difficult. It's very, very, very difficult. And the holidays make it a hell of a lot worse because you see everybody around you.
Yeah,
Well, my mom's coming to visit, my kids are coming to visit, my sister and my brother, and you're sitting there
Yeah.
all alone because CPS has destroyed everything. You don't have your kids, you don't have your siblings, you don't have your parents because CPS has lied to them and told them that you abused your kids and you did this and that and the other. And what really gets me though is what kind of fucked up situations are we in that our family believes CPS over us?
Right.
What kind of fucked up?
We're supposed to start reforming stuff soon, and I think one of the main things that need to be done is the investigations need to be proven before they remove the kids.
Yeah.
Not just false allegations, not, well, she said this happened, so it obviously happened. No, I think it needs to be proven that it happened before that they remove those kids.
I agree.
I don't understand why it is that people are so ignorant as to believe when an anonymous call goes into CPS and CPS knocks on your door for an investigation, it automatically is 100% true. But if I go online right now and say, guess what, y'all? I have a tail growing out of my ass. Nobody's going to believe that.
Right.
Why are you going to believe
the Biden people?
Just because it was called in to CPS, it doesn't matter who did it. CPS takes calls anonymously, and everybody knows this. Everybody knows that you do not have to give your name to CPS. Why the hell would you believe that any call to CPS is going to be valid? I mean, what kind of world are we in?
Biden economics,
so brainwashed.
Like I said, Biden economics, those Biden people might actually think there's a tail growing from you. Who knows?
You know what? They might actually think so, and they might actually try to come hunt me down with an elephant gun and, put me up on their wall, too.
No, as long as they got kids using litter boxes in schools, we're fine.
Right.
So,
why are those children not being taken out?
Right. Well, this is the thing. What about the whole gender mutilation thing that they had, that they offered kids to go to each state if your state wasn't a harboring state, or they didn't allow you to get the gender altercation? Why could you go to another state and get TPR
young as 3 years old? I heard.
Yeah, well, I guess 13 is what I heard for the age of verification. But you didn't even have to tell your parents that you were leaving. You could just take off at 13. Go find another family that would accept you in for that. The state would pay for you to get your gender, whatever they call it, and add a dick to me, and then boom, you're off and running, and you got a new family and everything, all TPR'd, and you never had to have the consent from the family. That's ridiculous.
But why? I don't understand. Why is it that we have a country that is hell bent that we're allowed to murder babies in the womb, but it's okay to murder babies in the womb, it's okay to murder babies in the womb, but then we sit here and we turn around and we're okay with trafficking children?
Yeah.
I mean, is that all it's about in the country, this world anymore? just harm our kids.
I still think I'm going to be pro-choice on that one, because there is some things where some states just don't allow it, even if the child was raped and pregnant, and it's causing her health issues.
But that's a different
There's
discussion.
some point.
Look,
I'm for that.
Yeah.
I understand that. We have one of my best friends had to
I'm a man.
have an abortion of a year ago
Look,
Yeah.
because she's got cancer, and she got pregnant
Yeah.
not too long after her diagnosis with cancer. Had she had
look.
that baby, it would have killed her, and the children that she has now
Well, that
would have
that
no
stuff's
other.
covered, but
So that's
I'm a man, and
Yeah.
I tell you
one
this.
thing. I'm talking about these women that go
It's
out and they
always-
sleep with 75 men a month, and they get pregnant, and they use abortions as birth control.
Would you
And we have all these Democrats out here screaming that should be okay. And then we have them out here saying that it's also okay to traffic children, then it's okay to cut off their genitalia. We have a war on our children. This is a war on the youth of America. It's not just a CPS problem. It is a war from our government on our children. Why?
because they can.
Yeah. Well,
But
in
what's
some
the-
states, they ban even aborting that medically for medical issues. They actually ban it.
Yeah, they do. I know Alabama's actually got a ban on it.
That
actually-
whole subject is for a whole different thing. Before they kill us for misinformation, let's not even talk about this. We're driving up a tree that we don't need to be on. So let's stop that conversation right here before they shut our show off. They'll get us for medical misinformation. So we're teetering on that already. So we'll end that whole pro-choice, pro-life, and all of that stuff. It is what it is. We know the cards that we have right now, and we all agree to disagree, whether we like it, whether we don't. But the fact of the matter is it's still happening, and that's what's going on in this country. And the fact of the matter is that kids are being trafficked and being stolen from loving families, and that's what's happening. And at the end of the day, where do we go from here? Where do we go? These loving families are being ruined that didn't have any argument in any of this fight, but yet their kids are taken. And why? For what? Who's making this decision at the end of the day? Where does this come from? Why is this happening? Period. That's the question. Why is the children's life not worth anything, no matter how it is handled? Doesn't matter whether it's just taken from a home. Doesn't matter if it's a choice of this, that, or the other. But why is a child's life not worth anything? Or is the child's life worth a ton, and that's why they're stealing them? There's that
There
side
you
of
go.
things to look at too. Where is it? What is a child worth in this country?
It's so ingrained in the government to traffic these children now that it's just, we don't know where it started anymore.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like, where? Okay, so let's just say, perfect world scenario, we get this thing freed up. They don't take kids. CPS is abolished. They don't take kids anymore. But for a moment, are they going to stop? Is this going to stop?
Probably not.
Okay, unfortunately, I have to jump off here because there's somebody at my door and my dogs are going to go crazy.
Yeah. All right. No worries, Spanny. Hop off. Hopefully it's not anybody that shouldn't be there.
Right?
But for real, what is the value of a child? This has been going on since 1666. How do we put the kibosh to this thing in total? Because you're still going to have pedophiles. You're still going to have people that are doing this bad stuff. How do we put the kibosh to all of this? That's what the goal needs to be.
It's gonna take getting back to an understanding that the family is the family unit is the foundation of this country, and if we don't start educating our youth to understand that a strong family unit is the only way that we're going to survive, nothing that we're doing is ever going to help, because somebody's always going to find a way to get in there and do what CPS is doing and what the government's doing.
Right. And what they're doing is they're demolishing the family unit, So these kids that are taken by CPS and that are left in the system, because you're not going to tell me that every one of these kids that are taken by CPS are brought to a loving, caring home. That's not how this works. The majority of these kids are brought to abusive situations. They're packed away in these, schools, they call them, or, they don't get a good life after leaving their family. They're going to have no family values. CPS is trying to win this, and they're trying to do it at a fast rate. You destroy the family. How are these kids going to know what a family is when they never experienced one themselves? How are you going to carry on family values? How are you going to even convince anybody that family is the way to go? They have no idea what one is.
Amy,
they're a generation
what
away.
do you want to get in touch with your caseworker for? Does she have your children? Or is this just a initial visit knocking on your door for the first time?
Ignore her. So what can I do to get?
Oh yeah, Debbie. There's definitely they put a lot of people up against us. They want us to feel like we have no choice but to bow down to what they do. They have 4, 5, 6, 7 people, and we're by ourselves to feel weak and powerless, so that we'll give in and do what they want us to do, which is give them our children.
Yeah. Let's see. Since birth 2 years ago, Amy says.
I mean, they had your kids since 2 years ago. They called a welfare check on you, as in, like, they wanted to check on.
Yeah, that's what I was.
You, not your children.
That's kind of.
Why did they take your visits? Was there a court order allowing them to take your visits?
Only a judge can do that. Only a judge can take your court visits. That's it. If they say no, tell them to pound sand. You have a show cause hearing or whatever, but until that point, you have visits all you want.
Amy, look me up on Facebook. Kim Page. Look me up on Facebook.
You know what they're doing. Yeah, but you know exactly what their technique is there. March. Let's see, what's March? April, May, June, July, August, September, October. 6 months was October. They got you for abandoning your child now. That's their game that they play.
They're trying to what they're trying to do is they're trying to say that there is no longer a connection between you and your children, and that would be detrimental to allow your children to continue to have your children have anything to do with you anymore, because they don't know who you are anymore.
Yeah.
But look me up on Facebook and message me, and let's chat about this. And Avella, you can do the same as well if you like. It's Kim Page on Facebook. Message me, and we can chat and see if there's anything I can do to help you out with your case.
Wow, Amy, that's just terrible. That's exactly what they're doing. They can't get you for anything on the other side, so they're going to get you for abandonment. That's what they're pushing for. Same thing they did to me. The state does that often. They take away your visits, so you have no fight. Your lawyers will say that it's going to take too long, or it's not worth trying to get your visits back. Let's just wait till the 6 month. What do they call it? Or they check you out again. 6 month brain cramp. Or they relook at your case and everything. That's what they'll do. But at that point, it's been 6 months. At that point, the department will say, well, they've gone the 6 months that they need to get abandonment, yada, yada, yada. So don't let them do that to you. I know, Amy, it's been a long time for you, but that's anybody that's listening and watching, watch out for that one. Only a judge can remove your visits at all, period, ever. So don't let them be like, oh, even in an emergency situation, they have to go to a judge. The judge has to be the one that sees that from happening. So don't ever fall into that trap. Because once you stop going, then they use that against you. Here's the thing what CPS does. Once they get you into their little funnel, it doesn't matter anymore the stuff that was. Because now they start their own record on you and their investigation on you. So whatever they took your kids for at the beginning now doesn't matter, because you didn't see your kid for 6 months. You didn't this. They begin, or you missed a phone call, or you didn't do this, or you showed up late for a visit. So now this stuff doesn't matter anymore. So while you're still trying to fight the front stuff, they're just racking up your points in their little checklist of their deviations of you didn't go to counseling this week, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. And that's what they're banging you out at. You don't even realize it because you're still trying to say nothing. There was no reason for them to take you. You got to pay attention to their game all the way around. You have to.
Amy, the judge saying that it's up to the discretion of the children's division, that's improper delegation of authority. It is not the discretion of the children's division. They do not have the legal authority to do that. That's them saying literally, if Darren and I had a child together and we went and got divorced and I said Darren's not allowed to have anything to do with the kids, and the judge said, okay, well, it's mom's decision. No, it's not. It is not. It is the judge's. It's the judge's responsibility to do that. And a lot of these judges will do that. They'll just sit there and say, oh, well, we'll just let CPS make the decision or whatever. That's improper delegation of authority. And the biggest thing that parents need to understand is you're getting an attorney that's paid by CPS, okay? So that attorney is not going to work for you. You're going to have to make that attorney work for you. And the key phrase that scares the shit out of attorneys that don't want to do what they're supposed to be doing is ineffective assistance of counsel. You start telling them that you're going to start filing all of your documents by and through ineffective assistance of counsel. They're going to start shitting themselves. They're going to ask to be relieved of duty from having to represent you. They're going to try to throw you on your butt, or they're going to get all the theirs and do their job. But do not let them tell you, oh, well, there's nothing we can do. That's bullshit.
Yep. Sure is. Well,
you're right. You're right, Avella. They don't know what they're doing. They have no idea what they're doing. 9 times out of 10, these judges have no education at all in family law. And none of them have any education in child psychology to understand the ramifications of what they're doing. Not a single one of them does. All they know is that somebody said, hey, if you terminate XYZ amount of kids, the parents' rights from their children per year, we'll give you this much bonus.
that's it.
We'll make sure you get elected back in office. You know,
Yep.
and they also think that they've got sovereign immunity. You know, or qualified immunity. Excuse me. They don't. There was actually an article that I think it was just yesterday that 9 judges were indicted. Well, if there's their ability to indict judges, that means they don't have qualified immunity. We just need to find somebody that has the balls to actually get up and try to charge them with what needs to be charged.
Yep. Sure is.
So,
Hey guys,
Amy, if
remember this.
you didn't get an attorney, if you didn't have an attorney, your case is going to be pretty daggum easy to appeal. Get with me, and I'll help you get a couple of things done on your case that can set you up for an appeal. Because that's the other thing that these attorneys do. So, one of the first things that happens when an attorney goes to law school is they're told, if it's not in writing, it did not happen. So when your attorney goes to court and all they do is speak and they don't file any motions, they're setting you up for losing everything. The appeals court, the way the appeals court works, they do not listen to you argue your case in court. There is no Matlock stuff going on. There is no SVU court trial stuff. There's none of that stuff. There's none of the Johnny Depp stuff. You don't see that in appeals court. What the appeals court does is they take the file and they read it and they determine if, based on what's in that file, the judge ruled in accordance with the law. If the judge did not, based on what documents were filed by both sides, then the appeals court will overturn the judge's ruling. But if your attorney does not file anything, there's no paperwork at all, then what your attorney is doing is your attorney is essentially saying, yes, everything the CPS accused me of is true. The attorney is stipulating that you are saying, yes, they've got a case against me, yes, they're right on everything, and I'm not going to argue it.
Correct.
So you've got to make sure that your attorney does their job. If your attorney doesn't do their job, ineffective assistance to counsel. But the other thing the parents need to start doing is a parental court report. What this is, your attorney and the judge, they all say you're not allowed to file your own stuff. If you've got an attorney, you're not allowed to file your own motions. Okay, fine. But you are allowed to file a court report. A court report is your version of what's happened since you were in court last. In this court report, you can file evidence. So when your attorney doesn't do their job properly, you have gone and cleaned up after them, so the appeals court can look at what's going on, and they can say, whoa, wait a minute. This isn't the way this is supposed to be.
Yeah, you have to have that. You have to have that proof. Without that, you've got nothing. And don't forget the Strickland standard, though, when you're trying to prove ineffective assistance of counsel. There's the other thing. You can't just go in there and say that my lawyer didn't do what I wanted. Stuff like that doesn't work. There's a two-pronged system that they have to follow. One of them is that they didn't do anything for you, like what she was just saying. And also it has to mean that if that lawyer, what did that lawyer do that altered, that if they weren't there, would have altered the outcome of the court case. So don't just go trying to throw it in there and say ineffective assistance counsel. If you got to do some work on this yourselves. You got to be able to prove why, like you're saying, do the court reports are great ways, because you can say, no, it was supposed to be this, not this, just like she's saying. So it's not just as easy as saying they didn't do their job. Look that up, the Strickland standard, and I will tell you. But Kim, we're at that time. We started up a bees nest here that could go for hours. It looks like, but we got to kill it right now. Are you frozen? Or are you just sitting there? Oh, okay, good. All right. You got anything last that you want to say there, Miss Kim? Oh, you know what?
Just remember that. Do what?
I think I have your info up here still.
Okay.
From our previous time.
Just remember, guys, that you're not alone in this. There are thousands upon thousands of other parents whose lives have been destroyed by CPS. Do not let them win by you taking your life. That's what they want. They want you out of the way. And when you're dead, that makes it so much easier for them. It costs them so much less money to fight a dead person than it does to actually keep filing in court and paying for the attorneys and the CPS workers that fight you. So don't give them the victory. Don't give them the easy victory. I mean, how would you speak to your children
come home
later on if they
right?
How would
you don't want that?
How do you answer your kids when they look at you in the afterlife and say, why did you kill yourself instead of fighting for me? Why didn't you?
Yeah.
Why wasn't I worth fighting for? Well, don't make it where you have to answer that question. Contact me, contact Darren, contact Fanny. There are dozens of other advocates out there. Even if there's not an advocate, there's just another parent that's been going through this longer than you that can be a shoulder to lean on. Take that.
Yeah.
Take
988
that.
is up 988 too.
Yes. Celebrate Recovery is fantastic if you want an actual physical place to go where you can have somebody that you can physically have hug you. Go to Celebrate Recovery. Just
All right.
don't do something that
Yep, that's it.
kids are later on going to be going, why?
That's it. All right, folks. Don't forget CPSV Hunting Justice tonight at 10 o'clock, and we'll be back this time. And Kim's show is going to be starting up. When are you starting your show, Kim?
We are going to have that discussion on Saturday. I have a couple of things going on Friday and Thursday and Friday, and as soon as I get through with those, I will be able to know what my schedule can be, so we can answer that either Friday evening or Saturday.
All right, perfect. All right, guys, have a good night. We'll see you all this evening, and look for Kim. She'll be here. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.
The house is empty, no love to be felt. They grabbed your baby, it's a feeling you never felt. You fight so hard to have her return. All they do is torture, you are feeling like burn. You do what they say, answer the question. They just keep telling you that you need lessons. You're not worthy of being a father. We don't want you to see your daughter. We don't know what you have done, but we'll say you're guilty. This has begun. We are taking your heart, your soul. You'll be alone now as you grow old. You are going away and die. No one will be there to cry. All by yourself, you can't do a thing. No one wants you around. No one believes you did nothing wrong. You gave your best fight. There was nothing you could do. I'll always remember the lonely December. You took my heart out for nothing. There was no reason for what was done. No one listened, not a one. As I lay dying on this bed, my visions are you running through my head. I'm sorry for nothing, I didn't do enough. I thought about you always, I didn't do enough. One day I'll be with you again, living in a world that you are in. Maybe that time I'll do it right. I'll be able